In this video, intimacy is explored not as a performance between two identities, but as a meeting of nervous systems and awareness. Ego-driven intimacy arises from incompleteness. It is rooted in the need to secure validation, reassurance, or control. In this pattern, connection is subtly organized around fear of abandonment, inadequacy, or loss. The body remains vigilant even while appearing close. Attention moves outward, scanning for approval or signs of threat. Contact becomes transactional. Do you see me? Do you choose me? Am I enough? Though moments of pleasure or bonding may occur, contraction quietly shapes the field. Heart-centered intimacy unfolds differently. It does not attempt to extract confirmation from the other. Instead, it begins with internal safety. When the nervous system no longer braces, presence deepens. There is less grasping and less guarding. One can remain open without collapsing and remain distinct without withdrawing. Connection becomes a shared resting in awareness rather than a strategy for self-completion. In ego-driven relating, the self seeks reinforcement. In heart-centered relating, the self softens. The boundary between me and you becomes permeable without disappearing. Sensation, emotion, and vulnerability are allowed without urgency. Nothing needs to be proven. As protective patterns dissolve, intimacy shifts from possession to participation. Two bodies, two histories, two nervous systems meet. Not to fix one another, but to rest in a field of mutual presence. Separation loses its rigidity, not through effort, but through safety. Physical intimacy is a direct reflection of one's capacity to receive. Rather than being reduced to chemistry or technique, it is understood as a somatic event, a meeting that reveals the nervous system's relationship to safety, openness, and surrender. The body does not only give, it must also allow. For many, giving feels active and controlled, while receiving feels vulnerable and uncertain. Physical closeness exposes this difference immediately. Tension in the chest, bracing in the abdomen, holding in the breath, these are not moral failings or psychological flaws. They are protective strategies shaped by history. The body tightens not because it is broken, but because it learned that openness once carried risk. When safety is present, something shifts. Breath deepens. Sensation becomes fuller. Instead of monitoring performance or outcome, attention settles into experience itself. Receiving is no longer passive. It becomes a conscious allowing. The nervous system recognizes that it does not need to manage the moment. In this way, physical intimacy becomes a mirror. It shows where there is contraction around worthiness, pleasure, and being met. It also shows where capacity has expanded. The more the body trusts that it can remain present without being overwhelmed, the more freely it can open. Receiving, then, is not about taking from another. It is about permitting experience to move through without resistance. As protective patterns soften, closeness shifts from effort to participation. What once required control becomes a shared field of sensation, presence, and mutual allowing. Intimate life force energy is not something personal or owned, but the movement of source through the body. It is the same current that animates breath, emotion, creativity, and longing. When filtered through contraction, it becomes grasping or urgency. When met with safety, it becomes aliveness, warmth, and connection. This energy is not created by the individual. It arises prior to identity. The body simply becomes its vessel.
When the nervous system is guarded, the current tightens. It may feel overwhelming, shameful, or difficult to regulate. Protective patterns attempt to contain or control it. The result is either suppression or intensity without grounding. When safety deepens, the experience changes. The current is no longer something to manage, it becomes something to feel. Sensation spreads without flooding. Breath moves naturally, the body does not brace against its own vitality. Instead of being directed toward conquest or validation, the energy circulates as presence. In this way, intimate life force energy reveals the degree to which one can remain open to source itself. The more contraction softens, the more this current feels sacred rather than chaotic. It is recognized as creative intelligence moving through form. There is no need to chase it or amplify it. When the body trusts that it can hold intensity without fragmentation, the movement becomes steady and integrated. What once felt personal becomes universal. The current that seemed like desire is understood as life-seeking expression through embodied awareness. Intimacy is not merely a relationship, but is a living practice of somatic awakening. It becomes a field in which the nervous system reveals its patterns in real time. Rather than approaching closeness as something to achieve or secure, It is approached as something to stay present within. Intimacy exposes reflexes that are often invisible in solitude. The urge to withdraw, to perform, to control, or to merge arises quickly when another nervous system is near. These responses are not mistakes. They are conditioned strategies shaped by earlier experiences of safety or threat. In conscious connection, they can be observed without judgment. When awareness remains embodied, intimacy becomes a training ground for regulation. One learns to notice bracing in the body and soften without collapsing. One learns to feel emotion without projecting it outward. One learns to stay distinct without defending separation. The practice is not about perfect harmony. It is about remaining present while sensation, vulnerability, and uncertainty move through the system. Over time, this steady contact reorganizes the body's expectations. Closeness no longer automatically signals danger. The nervous system begins to associate connection with safety rather than loss of control. Awakening in this sense is not abstract. It is lived through breath, sensation, and relational presence. Intimacy then becomes more than bonding. It becomes a path through which contraction dissolves and awareness stabilizes. Each moment of staying present where one once would have defended becomes a step toward embodied unity. Merging is not the loss of individuality, but as the softening of defensive boundaries that once maintained separation. It is not fusion born from dependency, nor collapse into another. It is a gradual surrender of contraction within the nervous system. When the body no longer braces to protect identity, a different kind of closeness becomes possible. Surrender in this context is not submission. It is the release of unnecessary control.
The breath deepens, muscles unclench, awareness widens. Instead of monitoring how one is perceived or whether one is enough, attention settles into shared presence. There is less effort to manage the moment and more willingness to feel it fully. As protective strategies quiet, presence becomes continuous rather than intermittent. One does not disappear. Individuality remains intact, yet it is no longer defended. Sensation flows without fragmentation. Emotion moves without overwhelming the system. The body recognizes that it can remain open without losing itself. Embodied union arises naturally from this safety. It is not created by intensity or force. It emerges when two regulated systems rest in the same field of awareness. In that field, the boundary between self and other feels permeable but stable. There is closeness without grasping, depth without drama, connection without fear. What dissolves is not the self, but the tension that once held it apart. What remains is presence shared through two bodies, grounded, awake, and unguarded. In summary, the body is holding an implicit memory of unity that precedes conditioning. Before identity formed around protection and separation, there was a direct experience of undivided presence. This memory is not conceptual. It lives in sensation, breath, and the natural rhythm of the nervous system when it feels safe. Throughout life, layers of defense accumulate. Contraction becomes familiar, guarding feels normal. Yet beneath these adaptations, the organism retains a quieter knowing. In moments of deep safety, whether in solitude, connection, or stillness, the body sometimes relaxes enough to reveal it. The sense of being a separate, defended self softens. Boundaries remain functional, yet they no longer feel rigid. This remembering does not happen through effort. It emerges when the nervous system no longer perceives threat. Muscles release, breath settles, awareness widens without strain. In that widening, unity is not achieved, it is recognized. The body does not need to construct wholeness. It simply stops bracing against it. To remember unity somatically is to feel that life is moving through rather than against the body. Experience is allowed without immediate resistance. Closeness does not automatically trigger fear. Aliveness does not require control. In this way, awakening becomes less about transcending the body and more about inhabiting it fully. Where contraction once maintained separation, regulation restores continuity. The body, when it feels safe enough, remembers that it was never truly divided from the larger field of life.